Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Illuminati, the man who rules the world, takes on the head of the global elite in this all-new action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' Illuminati in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. There was a mass shooting that took place at the Mad Butcher grocery store in Fordyce, Arkansas last week.
At Mad Butcher in Fordyce, and there's a shooting going on.
Ambulances transported victims and police officers tended to others after a mass shooting Friday morning at the Mad Butcher grocery store in Fordyce, Arkansas.
I just seen everybody ducking, and I just seen shots coming through the window.
Adriana Doherty took shelter in a freezer along with her mother and brother. Some saw the shooting from outside the store.
I'm kind of shaken up. It was something like you'd see on TV. It was definitely shots fired continuously.
Police say the gunman was also shot and taken into custody. They identified him as 44-year-old Travis Posey and say he'll be charged with 3 counts of capital murder. Outside the store, an upside-down grocery cart and evidence markers are signs of the chaos that unfolded.
The remaining civilian injuries range from non-life-threatening to extremely critical.
The community is grieving and mourning an act of violence so foreign to those who shop at the only grocery store in town. Nearby resident Philip Todd spoke to a reporter from the Little Rock CBS affiliate.
I probably knew most of the people.
Small town.
Small town, yeah.
Have you seen anything like this before?
Never. This doesn't happen here.
A crowd gathered outside a local medical facility as friends and family waited for information about the victims. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Now, in this alleged incident that took place in Fordyce, Arkansas, 44-year-old Travis Eugene Posey allegedly drove in his truck 12 miles from New Edinburgh to Fordyce, Arkansas, and came to the Mad Butcher supermarket armed with a shotgun and a pistol. And as he came into the Mad Butcher parking lot, he began firing shots at people, which led to him participating in a mass shooting that took the lives of 4 people and wound up wounding 11 others, including 2 police officers. And as he was participating in this mass shooting, eventually Travis Eugene Posey was subdued by police, and after being subdued by police with minor injuries, he was soon taken into custody by the Fordyce Police Department. Now, the police in Arkansas see this tragic mass shooting as yet another isolated incident in the 247 mass shootings we have had here in America. But when I take a critical examination of Travis Eugene Posey's actions as related to this mass shooting, it definitely fits the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And according to reports, Travis Eugene Posey was seen by neighbors as an extremely nice guy, but what most people don't know about nice guys is that a lot of nice guys, while they may appear to be friendly on the outside, are oftentimes filled with a lot of anger on the inside. And possibly that could have led to the motive for this mass shooting for Travis Eugene Posey, because as one of those nice guys, he was, again, friendly and professional on the outside, but could have been seething with anger on the inside, anger that he kept to himself in a place that I call in The Man Crisis the secret world. Now, with many beta males, they often live a double life where on the outside they have a just polite and friendly persona that allows them to create a smooth world where they make everyone feel comfortable. but they go to a place I call the secret world to explore their natural masculinity and in some cases their own natural sexuality. And in the case of Travis Eugene Posey, possibly he could have been in the secret world, seething with lots of anger and frustration about the state of his life, and that anger could have possibly been the motive for him to look to participate in taking the lives of all of those people at the Mad Butcher supermarket as he participated in this mass shooting. Now, what has a lot of people scratching their head about Travis Eugene Posey's behavior is that he basically was an honest, everyday citizen to everyone in the areas of Arkansas that he lived, where he ran his trucking business and his tree business, and he was basically someone who had no criminal record, and no one would ever think that he would be motivated to participate in this kind of crime, even though he had gone through issues with bankruptcy and also had to deal with the passing of his father. He had shown no signs of ever wanting to ever participate in any sort of violence. But that's when it comes to beta males, they will again put on this veneer, and because these men are not taught proper male life skills in relating to navigating through their emotions, what happens is as they enter that secret world to feel safe about their natural masculinity and natural sexuality, what they do is they are seething in anger, and as they seethe in anger and are having all of these feelings of hurt and anger on the inside, this is what makes these men feel frustrated about the state of their lives, because they don't know how to process their feelings. And yes, you have the feelings about whatever is going on, but you cannot act on those feelings. And in the case of Travis Eugene Posey, perhaps as he was seething in this anger and frustration, he basically was reaching a boiling point where he eventually possibly wound up exploding in this rage and felt like he had nothing to lose. And as he felt like he had nothing to lose about whatever was upsetting him, what he did was, with malice of forethought, I believe, drove all the way to the Mad Butcher supermarket. And as he drove to the Mad Butcher supermarket, he wound up participating in this mass shooting, allegedly taking the lives of an 81-year-old woman, a young 20-something woman, and possibly wound up shooting and injuring several people, including police officers. This possibly was him expressing his frustration about the state of his life. And what was scary about this whole situation was that most people didn't know what was going on or why was it going on. But from doing my years of research on these mass shooters and looking at the pattern and profile of their behavior, it's looking to me like Travis Eugene Posey was one of these beta male ticking time bombs that was going on for an extended period of time. And what's scary is that he was the ticking time bomb that nobody knew anything about until he wound up exploding in this rage, a rage where he participated in an extreme as related to the spectrum of violent behaviors that I talk about in The Man Crisis, because the mass shooter is on the extreme as related to the case of violent behaviors that these men participate in, because they are frustrated about the state of their lives, frustrated about the direction of their lives, don't feel like they have any sort of peace or satisfaction. So because these men feel like they can't get any peace, what they do is wind up looking to go out in a blaze of infamy, because they feel like they have nothing to lose, because they have nothing to achieve or accomplish in life, which is quite puzzling, because Travis Eugene Posey got a master's in tree forestry, went out here, started a tree business, and was a trucker. And it was, again, these are jobs that do pay very well, but maybe he couldn't find any sort of spiritual or mental satisfaction as related to life, because with a lot of these beta males that I've done research on, a lot of these men can't find any sort of personal satisfaction or spiritual satisfaction, and this is what leads to these men being motivated to participate in these kinds of shooting sprees where they look to get attention for themselves because they feel like since they can't get any satisfaction in life, they look to, as related to being successful, what they do is look to go out in infamy. And we've got a pattern of these males participating in this behavior. And usually in these cases, what happens in these mass shootings is, again, these men, after participating in these clear murders with malice of forethought of innocent people, a lot of them will take their lives in a passive-aggressive way to keep people from holding them accountable. But Travis Posey was basically stopped by police from being able to do that. And now that he is in custody, he's being charged with 4 counts of capital murder in the first degree and will possibly be going to jail and then going to be put on trial where he will be imprisoned for the rest of his life. And as he's in that penitentiary, he possibly will be forced to think critically for the first time about the life he basically threw away, all because he was frustrated about the state of his life and really think about losing everything as related to his life because of all of that frustration and anger that he felt he couldn't talk about. And as he's in the penitentiary, he won't get a chance to talk about anything as related to this case because he will be dealing with the authority of the COs, and he will also be dealing with the social pecking order of Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles, and will be dealing with them, showing him how life works in the penitentiary since he couldn't make life work in the real world, as he's traded for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, off-brand lemon lime drink, off-brand orange drink, off-brand grape drink, off-brand fruit punch, off-brand apple juice, off-brand Hawaiian punch, and off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand lemon cookies, off-brand vanilla wafers, off-brand ginger snaps, off-brand duplex cookies, Fritos chips, Hunt snack pack puddings, Kit Kat candy bars, beef jerky, packets of tuna, packets of chicken, packets of soy sauce, Fritos chips, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies, and packets of sriracha sauce, packets of soy sauce, and to finish it off, some Snyder's pretzels and prison chips. Dude is going to go from being a free man to being a man who is going to be spit roasted by Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles for the rest of his life. And as he's in there getting spit roasted for the rest of his life, Mr. Sprinkles will be coming in, spraying him with the special sauce and in the front side and the back side, then calling all the guys of Cell Block D to see his backside and his cheeks split open, looking like the inside of a Louisiana crunch cake. And that will be the sad, tragic end of Travis Eugene Posey, a man who went from doing well in life to winding up being a man in crisis inside of the penitentiary. And as he's in that penitentiary, sadly, what we're going to see is this whole trend of mass shootings continue to get worse in this country, because we're not even 6 months into the year and we're at 247 mass shootings, which is even worse than the previous years, which basically proves a point that I made way back in as far as 2017 when I started doing these videos, when I said it's going to get worse before it gets better, because now we are at a point where we have over 247 mass shootings, and sadly our government continues to be in denial about the man crisis, still trying to make it a gun control issue, when in this case a gun control law would not work because, one, Arkansas is a red state and it possibly has concealed carry permits, and two, it also wouldn't work because, again, it's not a gun issue, it's an issue of what's motivating these men to participate in these shootings. And a lot of people want to keep saying that we need to legislate laws to deal with gun control when we have a problem with men not having self-control, and men not having self-control to be able to deal and process with their feelings and process their feelings. That's the reason why we have this man crisis in this country, and it continues to get worse, and we continue to see an increase in frequency of this violence because most Americans refuse to acknowledge the man crisis, and we also refuse to acknowledge that the way we have been raising children in this country is not raising healthy men, and boys and girls to become healthy men and women. No, what we've been doing is raising boys and girls to become beta males and feminist indoctrinated women, and those feminist indoctrinated women and beta males wind up becoming men and women in crisis. And as the COVID-19 pandemic has gone on, these boys girls who have grown up to become men in crisis have gone from becoming ticking time bombs like Travis Eugene Posey that explode in rage over a slow period of time to winding up becoming landmines all across this country. And the scary part is you don't know where you're going to step on one of these landmines, or what they're going to do when they explode, or the damage they will do to people's lives. That is the scary part about dealing with these beta males and these feminist indoctrinated women, is you never know what these people are going to do. And what's really sad is because Americans are too proud to admit we have a problem as related to the way we have raised children in families and the way we have basically destroyed families since the sexual revolution. A lot of us don't want to acknowledge that we have a problem with the way we are socializing people. And instead of socializing people to become functional adults, what we're doing is socializing boys and girls to become men and women in crisis that make the country just that more violent and make it people feel unsafe about going to groups as related to doing everyday things like going to the supermarket, because you never know when one of these ticking time bombs will go off or one of these landmines will explode, and that has people walking on eggshells. And it's all due to the way we are raising our children. And again, can't tell anybody that they're messing up, because America's women in our gynocentric society cannot be told that they are failing at raising children, and corporate America doesn't want to go out here and change its schedules to give people more hours to parent, more hours to relax, and more hours to be able to deal with their stresses, and also give them money and help for health care as related to counseling. Now, this I don't believe was a mental health issue. I believe a lot of people just again are frustrated and stressed out, and again stressed out due to the dysfunctional way we raise children, due to the dysfunctional way we work as a culture, and due to the dysfunctional lifestyle that we have developed ever since the days of the 1960s and the sexual revolution. I mean, we have really put a lot of damage to our society, and sadly, instead of us having a season of summer where people feel safe, we are in the season of the simp. And in the season of the simp, a lot of these children of the corn grow up like stalks and eventually wind up, because they grow wild, go out of control. And as they grow out of control, they wind up wreaking havoc all across the country, participating in violent incidents like this. But many of our politicians won't talk about how these incidents come together and all they fit a pattern and profile, because they want to keep the country going economically as related to making money. But we're not going to be making much money if people don't feel safe about going to places, don't feel safe about going to places because they fear they may be targeted by a mass shooter who is dangerous, and so dangerous that they put the nation at peril due to them being men in crisis. Now, if you want to learn what leads to males like this being motivated to participate in this kind of violence and how to be able to intercept this pattern of behavior and correct it, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos about the man crisis that's going on in this country, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.